Hello, people of the internet. So today we're going to do some fall maintenance on the mower tractor behind me. It's, just mostly it takes trash cans down and cuts a little bit of grass. This is going to be kind of a quick skip. I'm not doing a full oil change because the oil interval on the change interval on these Kohler engines is 100 hours. So what I usually do is I will change the oil only on one season and then change oil and filter the next season, because I only put about 20 hours tops on this each season. It just doesn't, the amount of grass that it has to cut and like I say, taking trash cans back and forth, it just doesn't build up to a lot of hours. But I do like putting fresh oil in it every season. Also going to put new blades on it. I'm horrible about blades. I run mine down until they're just destroyed and put a new blade set on them. On these, it's pretty inexpensive. It's like 30 bucks for the set of 3. This is a 50-inch deck. And so I don't really feel bad about just burning a blade for, a season or two. Running over sticks, running over rocks, and then just putting a brand new blade on it. I don't worry about that kind of stuff. I'm not into gardening that way or lawn maintenance that way. But I'll show you how I change the oil mid-season. I'll show you where the oil filter is. And I will go over how to properly change the blades on them. These do not have to be synced. It's an old enough mower unit. This is a Craftsman. I think it's originally a GT50 from like the early mid 90s, somewhere around that ballpark. Newer units, some you do, some you don't, but newer multi-blade units, a lot of times you do have to sync them or time the blades so the blades don't hit each other. This one doesn't have that problem. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with this. But that's the intro. Let's get working, see where we're going. All right. So for my set right now, I got my grease gun out so I can do the pins. These have already been converted to sealed bearings, so I don't have to grease in the hub unit of the front wheels. My blade set and my Mighty Vac extractor. This comes in real handy. I believe on this one, maybe it's this one, or no, it's my other one. One of them, the previous owner had extended the oil drain so that you could actually get to it pretty easily. They're under the bottom of the engine, and I just prefer to reach in with a tube and suck it out. This is how I used to do it in shops. There is some argument about whether or not you get all the oil out of it that way or not, but I was doing it for fleet style shop work for almost 11 years, and we never had a significant problem with any of ours, and our users were abusive about it. These are units that back then anyway, they're, it's not mine, I don't care about it type stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to use the Mighty Vac extractor. I'll start pumping the oil out. Had the tire go flat on me, so I need to fill the tire up. Need to hit some grease spots, put some grease in it. I'm going to check the fuel filter. I did a fuel filter and a tune-up beginning of this season. Well, I guess last winter. So that's all fine. I'll just make sure the fuel filter's still doing okay. Well, we can do that now. Fuel filter looks empty, but I've had not a lot of fuel in it. It's got a little floaty bit down there. There it is, right there. You can kind of see it. It's got a little floaty bit. So the fuel filter's doing its job. I'll probably leave that on. This is where the oil filter location is on these. It's nothing crazy to get to or anything like that. This is your oil cooler. And again, like I say, I've only put about 20 hours on it this year, this season. So I'm going to leave the filter on because it was a new filter last winter, and I will just do a new filter next winter. So that'll be what, winter 26, I guess, whatever, something like that. Let's get working, and we'll come back later. So something else you should look over while you're doing this is it's a good time to check your belt condition. You can do this in a couple different ways. The deck belt on this, actually let me get to the other side. The deck belt on this is fairly new. I had to replace it this spring. So I'm not super worried about the deck belt, but you can kind of look in. Yeah, you can take these cover plates off. Mine just have 1/4 inch thread screw bolts, so they're 7/16 head. But you got a deck belt and the deck drive belt. My deck belt, let's see, can you see on this side a little better maybe? No, probably not. Hold on. All right, that help? Oh, hey, look, I can see stuff now. So that means we can all see stuff. So the drive belt you can see is the newer one. It's the darker one up here, and the deck belt is that one. The deck belt is only 2 seasons old and looks in pretty good condition. It's not broken or nicked or anything like that. This one, like I said, I put this on at the beginning of the season, so that one's still pretty good shape. And then if I can squirm the camera and everything around, the actual transaxle drive belt is harder to get to, and is way over that way. It's I can't get the camera and my hand. It's this thing I'm wiggling over here. It's looking like I might need to replace that one here soon. I think I'm gonna go back to the other side and look at that. Sorry about all the sniffling. I've had bad allergies lately. Something is in bloom. Well, it's this guy back here. It's starting to fray just a little bit, and it's starting to get shiny, glossy. So that one, I'll definitely need to address that soon. But again, it's not cracked or broken, so I'm not going to worry about it. But when you're doing your maintenance, you want to check your belts. Make sure your belts are good. Make sure they're not all frayed and falling apart. You don't want to be in the middle of a job, in the middle of working and just have it all fall apart on you. That's terrible. Nobody likes that. This is pretty slow for this job. If you pull the drain plug, it is faster. But I've got nothing but time. So we'll pause and come back in a little bit. All right. So the oil change is finally done. These engines hold roughly 2 quarts. This is a CV25S. CH is going to be the same. It's just going to be a horizontal crank instead of a vertical crank. Pretty much all the 20, 24, 25, 26 horse, they all hold about 2 quarts. The other thing I didn't talk about, so your air filter is under this. There is just a simple wing nut. You take that off of there, and mine does not have the foam piece. Oh, yeah, I say it's a simple wing nut. Now I can't get the wing nut off. It's that simple. There we go. Mine's missing the foam, but again, it's not bad. It's only about 3 seasons old, and depending on your dust conditions and things of that nature, you can get a lot of life out of the air filters on these. Mine is sucking up a little bit of the grass clippings, so I've got to take this off and clean it every so often. And inside of your air filter cover here is your maintenance schedule. So which one's in English? Yeah, nobody can read that, but there it is. What's this say? This says that, let's see, change oil every 100 hours, like I said, replace air filter every 100 hours, replace fuel filter every 100 hours, clean cooling fins every 100 hours, change oil filter every 200 hours. Ooh, okay. So I can go a little longer on filter. And spark plugs every 6, is that a 5 or 6? Every 500 hours. check your spark plugs every few seasons and replace as necessary. Don't necessarily go off of that guide for spark plugs. So next, I got to get this up in the air on jacks, and we got to do the blades. In case I didn't show it, because I don't remember, those are the grease points on the steer pins. And then if you do still have bushinged wheels and not bearinged wheels, you'll take your cover cap off here. And mine's stuck pretty good. You'll take your cover cap off, and there'll be a grease point in here. Sometimes on the back side of the wheel, actually, or on the inside of the wheel. But there'll be a grease point in there so that you can get grease on your bushings, so that it doesn't wear out your spindle or your bushings too bad and lead you to have to replace or destroy a unit prematurely. So that's all that. Let's get the rest of this going. All right, so now that's up, I'm going to do the blade side. Now, one of those things to be mindful of with the blades, I closed the hood, but go ahead. If you're not going to disconnect the battery itself, make sure the key is not in the ignition at all. Disconnect your spark plug wires. You could also reach up in here and disconnect the plug to the ignition switch. That will do it as well. But you want to make sure there's no chance that if you're spinning something, granted, I know the PTO is not engaged, so it should not spin the crankshaft. You shouldn't run into a situation where it's going to false start like a push mower might, where it's directly bolted to the crank. Just safety first. Unplug your wires. Make sure the key's not in the ignition. If it makes you feel better, unplug the battery. There's no harm in being safe and not wanting to lose a finger or a hand. Okay? There's no shame or anything like that. Don't let people scare you. So under here, I don't think I'm going to be able to get the camera under here in a really good way. But you can see the blades. 1 blade, 2 blade, 3 blade. So all 3 of those need to get changed. I've spun it a little. Everything turns good. My PTO is starting to get a little noisy, but it's pretty old. But it works, so don't fix it till it's broke on that one. But the where was I going with that? The other thing you're going to want to do, since you've got it up a little bit and you're going to want to check the deck. Make sure you don't have super big clumps or anything like that built up in here. You want to get all that gunk off of there. Now, I use a leaf blower pretty much, like that. I use a leaf blower after every mow, or I use my compressed air if I've got my compressor on at the time, and I blow everything out under this deck. I blow the whole unit off. I blow everything under the deck out, and that works great for me. It keeps the majority down, and as you can see, I've just got real thin little bits of buildup, and I actually have rings of droppings where it's fallen off of the deck where I parked this in the shed. So I'm going to see if I can get the camera set up in some way that you guys can see me work on this, and if not, I'm just going to go ahead and change the blades, and then we'll compare the old blades to the new blades. Alright, that took a little bit more effort than I had expected. I had to break out to the big ratchet for a minute there. Evidently, some genius, when they put the bolt in last time, they used a little bit of red Loctite on it. Yeah, I was thinking forward that day. So, as you can see, I am extremely rough on my blades. Again, they're so inexpensive, I just don't care. That one's got a big chunk out of it. Oh, sorry. But if you're using mulching blades like this, which on this, I don't need to use a mulching blade. It's just what's there. You want to make sure the fingers are up, and these are typical lefty-loosey, righty-tighty screws. They're not counterclockwise or anything like that. So let me get the other ones down, the new ones on, and we'll come back and go from there. Well, that went back together, and this time I was smart enough to use, medium strength thread lock. Excuse the chicken. She's a little upset because nobody's paying attention to her. But again, chewed up. This one's probably the best out of the three. And I could sharpen these, and I might go back and sharpen them, but again, at the price point, I'm not super worried about it. It's not that big a hit for me to, to do that. So I did mention these are standard rotation bolts that hold them in, so lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. The spindle has an integrated star. Some blades are like universal blades, and you have to put an insert in here to match your spindle lock. Make sure that you do that. Make sure you get the right type of blade for your spindle so it seats properly, and because you don't want the blade to kind of seat. It looks like it's seated, and then it ends up not being. They can come apart, and that just ruins everybody's day. You don't really want the blades coming apart like that. So I think it's time to get this guy back on the ground and go run some tests to see if it's going to blow up or not. And just a little test mow. You always got to make sure stuff works, right? Again, I don't go for perfection on anything. I just want it to be good enough. Somebody joined the camera. But did a fine job. Chews everything up. Does exactly what I need it to do. And I like that one. It works really well in cooler weather. In wetter conditions. Hold on. So, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I was real afraid that it's, maybe it's horrible. That's better. Okay. But being where we are, we get lady beetles hibernating and attacking you. They're disgusting. We get lots of condensation, and it's really difficult to mow at certain points of the day. Especially, I like to mow in the morning. That's usually when I have the most free time. I like to do other stuff in the afternoon, and I'm getting attacked. If you don't know, lady beetles are different than ladybugs. I think they're part of the same genus or whatever, but lady beetles are like the drunk, obnoxious Floridian cousin. I've got family in Florida. I can make that joke. But yeah, so that's basic fall thing. I'm gonna get done with this, and that's how you do it. That's the short end of it. It's not super detailed, but that's how you do it. Get out, have fun, go do something you like, and check out my living. Yeah, they're all looking for places to hibernate, and it's just warm enough out. that they are everywhere. Needs to get freezing soon and stay freezing. All right, everybody, have fun.